Good morning and welcome to For Fantasy's Sake, presented by Mobile Party Xperiance, the premier source for all your tailgating needs in the Quad Cities. As always, I'm DJ Jarvis. We got a little bit of a different look today. Right now, I'm joined by Nick the Lethal Weapon Girl. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got me.
All right. And we should be joined by his Monday Night Hammer cohort, Michael Sicoli. We'll come up with a good nickname for him while we wait.
Yeah.
How's it going this morning, Nick?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to talk a little bit of football. Week 14 shaping up to be an interesting one. The last couple of weeks, everyone's been kind of right about who's going to play well and stuff. I get a feeling this week that we're going to be wrong about a lot of things. So when that happens, it's always fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. They had mentioned it this morning on the ESPN pod or cast. For the first time in majority fantasy football, first time ever, we're having regular season matchups in week 14.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's exciting. A lot of people probably have a pretty good sweat today, winning in situations. Hopefully we can help some people out.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to pat my own back in my one league that starts playoffs week 13. I am in the playoffs. You guys might have heard of it. It's called the Scott Fish Bowl. It's kind of a big deal.
Okay, there we go.
Doug and I both made the playoffs this year. My team isn't real great. Just kind of been able to grind out some W's on the back of Travis Kelce and Dallas Goedert in the tight end premium format. So
yeah, there we go. If you watched last week, I did have a pretty good Dallas Goedert call. I said he'd be tight end 1, which was looking pretty good until George Kittle decided to finally have a big game.
Yeah, Kittle was my call last week, and it was nice to see him finally get involved a little bit more in the passing game. And for those of you that are tuned in already, today's going to look a little different. We're going to talk a little quarterback and tight end, and then we're going to have an entire half hour talking DFS today. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to you and Brian teaching me a little bit about DFS. So
yeah. Today's a good DFS week because I feel like people that aren't in the playoff hunt or haven't been for a while are probably pivoting to DFS this week. So like I said, hopefully we can help the people out.
Yeah, if you can't win your fantasy league, you might as well win a little cold hard cash.
Exactly.
I'm riding a little high. This is usually played in your neck of the woods, but I put a little bit of entertainment purposes on the under for an Army Navy yesterday, hoping that
there you go
15-year streak would keep going. And
yep,
we sweated it out a little bit, but we made it happen.
It was close. The under hit for sure.
So I guess the big name here, I'm dropping all the way down. Let's talk about Taysom Hill a little bit.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. I think a lot of people think he can't really throw the ball. I mean, he's fine. Good enough. If he's on your waiver wire and you need someone to pick up, go get him right now. He runs the ball. He's a very fantasy friendly quarterback. He's playing the Jets. Like there's not a whole lot that can go wrong here. I guess the path to him failing is that they just give the ball to Kamara 30 plus times and the offense kind of flows through him, which I kind of like Kamara this week a lot too. But I mean, just attack the Jets, attack Houston, attack the Jags, and then print money. That's basically what we do here.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's the rare thing with Taysom Hill. And I think we talk about this a lot when you get out of like the Lamar Jackson areas is guys like Taysom Hill, guys like Taylor Heineke, just because they're not, don't have a ton of arm talent, don't put up glorious passing numbers. Mm-hmm. They're giving you extra points with their legs. Even if you consider, last week, Taysom Hill turned the ball over, had four interceptions, and he still got 22 points. He rushed for 100.
Exactly, yeah.
22 points in two-point pick leagues, but
yeah.
So
if you're an underdog and you need to win, and Taysom Hill's sitting out there in one of your leagues, go get him.
I think that's a very underrated statement. I was thinking about that a lot last week after you'd mentioned that on the show last week. Is how you set up your things based on what your potential to win the game is. And I know a lot of websites, ESPN gives you your percent of a chance to win.
Yeah, and that's based in some pretty good data, honestly.
Yeah, as does MFL. They've rolled that out. And I actually really like that statement. You put a lot of thought into that, if your opponent had a lot of Thursday night guys. So if you played against Dalvin Cook or Najee Harris, it's definitely very relevant in your mind. But if you really think about it, fantasy football, a lot of times, you get into leagues where you have the haves and have nots. So you're kind of out there fishing for where your higher floors are too, and your higher ceilings.
Yeah, when you're an underdog, you wanna create chaos. And Taysom Hill is a great option. Taylor Heineke, Cam Newton, all these kind of like rushing quarterbacks that might not have the arm talent, like they create chaos, and creating chaos in your lineup, it could flop, but I mean, you were probably going to lose anyway, so you might as well just go for broke,
Tell me a little bit about Cam Newton at 9 here.
Yeah, Atlanta is another. I should put Atlanta in that category with Houston, the Jags, and the Jets. They're just a dumpster fire right now. Like, I think everybody's kind of checked out. I mean, they have their star player with mental health issues. He's probably just shelved for the season. It just seems like they've kind of checked out. Carolina's at home. Cam Newton's an emotional guy. He loves playing in Carolina. If he gets going early, like, it could be a big Cam Newton game. So I have him all the way up at 9, ahead of Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow, which that might turn some heads. But he's got that rushing floor. He should probably. He's gonna get his number called down at the goal line a couple times probably. Cam Newton. Here we are, week 14.
I think we're sitting in a situation too where you're looking at those top 6-8 quarterbacks, and those are guys we're definitely starting, and all those guys have the potential to be QB1. So you're kind of trying to fish, like you said, you're trying to hit those points somewhere else where your opponent might not really grab them.
One quarterback here that people might disagree with is Lamar Jackson. He's kind of had a pretty down few weeks. No one wants to really play him in DFS, and rightly so. I mean, he's also playing Cleveland for the second time in 3 weeks, and typically, like, the second game in the division is a little bit lower scoring for these quarterbacks. But yeah, I mean, you got to lock him in. He's just got such a high floor. These games can just go absolutely nuts.
The one thing that would make me nervous with Lamar, but again, I don't think that you're in a situation where you're not playing him. Obviously, in DFS, it's a little different because you're playing with cash. Is the only thing that gives me pauses. When they played the last time, he had those 4 picks, and I know that Monday night, a little bit of extra juice, but it does make me a little nervous.
Yeah, and I think Jackson's the type of quarterback that he kind of, like, in those primetime slots. I don't know if there's a narrative out there right now. Like, sometimes he doesn't really show up in the big games, specifically with the playoffs and stuff. And you listen to him talk after his first playoff win last year, like, it was a big relief for him. So it's definitely on his mind. I think he just shows up for a 1 p.m. game and just does Lamar Jackson stuff. So I'm excited about him this week.
So I know I love to talk about my team. Tell me a little bit about Carr against Kansas City. He didn't look very good the first time they played, but he's looked good in other games. I mean, he's been. I wish Sicoli was here to tell me I'm stupid, but
Derek Carr, it's a scary one. I do have him up here at 15, ahead of. The guys he's ahead of, though. I mean,
right.
Absolutely. The back end of the QB2 picture is pretty bleak. I think Derek Carr is like the last quarterback that I'm, like, excited to play, maybe. But yeah, against Kansas City, second game in the division, so that's a ding on him. But otherwise, like, Kansas City's going to put up points at home. It's just a matter of can Derek Carr keep up, and the volume is going to be there because he's going to have to throw the ball. So yeah, I like that game, and I think, like, they'll be competitive enough. I mean, I'm sure like Las Vegas, the Raiders, like, they know Kansas City better than a lot of people. The first time they played, they got absolutely embarrassed, and they're the only team that seems to have not figured out how to kind of shut down Kansas City. I don't think they'll shut them down on the road at Kansas City. I think they'll just kind of line up and play their defense and let Patrick Mahomes do what he wants, and hopefully he can put up some points on the way back.
and your hope is you just outscore them.
Yeah.
I will note two things that have come out since right as we were starting. L'Jarius Sneed's been downgraded to out, cornerback for the Chiefs. Bad situation, family situation there with him. His brother was killed, quote unquote, over the weekend. And then Tony Pollard is officially out for the day.
Yeah, that's big. Those are a couple of big pieces of news there. Another one is J.D. Mckissick. It was hopeful that he'd clear concussion protocol. It's looking like he's out. But we'll get to that a little bit later, especially when we talk DFS stuff, because that's a big piece of news for DFS this week.
So we'll talk a little bit of tight ends here. We're going to condense that a little bit since we're going to talk so much DFS. So, I mean, pretty standard week as far as rankings for tight end. It's kind of funny. We're now in the situation where TJ Hawkinson down here at number 10.
Yeah, we need to fix this because he's actually out.
He is out?
Yeah, he's out with a hand injury.
Okay.
So knock him out of the rankings. There is an interesting one. If you have TJ Hawkinson and you're desperate, Brock Wright is his backup. He's from the tight end factory of Notre Dame. Ran a 4.6 40. He's an athletic guy. I mean, they don't really have a whole lot of people to throw the ball to. On the road at Denver, who's got a pretty good defense. Denver's just going to absolutely steamroll them. So if you're desperate, go get TJ Hawkinson. If none of these other guys are out on the waiver wire, which I doubt they are, go get Brock Wright. He's a good plug and play, and just hope, I
mean, you might be able to find Evan Ingram and Austin Hooper on your
yeah. Austin Hooper projects really well this week.
Yeah, Evan Ingram's one of those guys I just cannot quit. So
yeah.
Where I know that I had hit that cheat sheet that you had created. What's yours? And I know we'll obviously talk about this guy a little bit more next segment. But what are you thinking about Foster Moreau this week?
Foster Moreau, no one's gonna be excited about playing him, but the volume's gonna be there. He kind of let everybody down last week as like kind of the really popular cheap tight end play. Foster Moreau, you know what? I'd plug him right in there at 10. I'm gonna bump him up a little bit. Plug him in there at 10, and because the volume's gonna be there, and I mean they have Hunter Renfrow, they have Josh Jacobs getting targets now, and they have Foster Moreau. The offense is going to flow through those guys. Bryan Edwards is a non-factor, unfortunately. I was really excited about him as kind of like a sneaky like dynasty draft pick, but it's just not working out. Maybe next year. But yeah, Foster Moreau is going to be a big part of that offense, and they're going to have to throw the ball. So
I do like a little bit of. I like Deshaun Jackson a little bit in this game. So
yeah, that's an interesting one.
But that'll definitely open up windows for Moreau as well. As a Waller manager, disappointed to see him out, but as somebody who probably has the number 2 seed wrapped up, I'm tied with the tiebreaker playing against the worst team in the league this week. I might lose probably. I don't want to pat my back, but as a manager who's got a playoff spot wrapped up, I'm kind of happy that he's not playing because he'll be healthier next week or the week after, whatever.
Yeah, two interesting kind of rankings here is Dawson Knox in that Tampa Bay game. That's just going to put up so many points. He's interesting this week. Dalton Schultz is another one that is interesting. At Washington, I think the Cowboys are going to have to run the ball. I actually took Washington money line, which that's I don't really bet with my gut because I'm an idiot. The numbers say to bet Washington money line. It's about a 60% chance that they win, and there's pretty good odds on that. So there's one for the people out there if you want to put a money line bet out there today.
Might have to check that out after we jump off of here today.
Yeah.
So that's our quarterbacks and our tight ends. Obviously, if you have any questions, we'll be answering those towards the end of the show. Feel free at any time to pop into the live stream comments. Send us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, email, text me.
Send me a letter.
Send them a fax, anything like that. We love answering your questions. It's our favorite part about the show. On the other side, we're going to be joined by Brian, and but right now Nick, I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's that?
We love fantasy football here. We just love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good Sunday thing. But do you know what football fanatics in the Quad Cities love more than their Sunday football?
I'm actually not sure. Is it that pizza you were telling me about?
It's close. It's close. It's probably a second favorite, but they love tailgating and partying before, during, and after their favorite college football games. And I know that, we had Army Navy. We talked about that. That hit the under, yesterday. Big deal. But we're right into college basketball season. Illinois had a big game yesterday. That was great. And you know what? Mobile Party Xperiance has your hookup for all your tailgating needs for that as well. And Mobile Party Xperiance offers solutions for all types of party throwers and goers. They have towable trailers that offer music, TVs, gaming, private bathrooms with running water, flushable toilets, beverage dispensers, coolers, grills and utensils, tables, chairs, and tents. They have all the amenities you could want or need to host a tailgate, party, or event. Find them on their website, my-mpx.com, or on their Facebook at Mobile Party Xperiance. Sunday's still the best day at Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill. While your favorite jamokes aren't on the deck talking fantasy football, they're still one of the best places in the Quad Cities for your football viewing pleasures. Their back deck is ready to go for football season. The sides are up, the heat is on to protect you from Mother Nature, where you can enjoy the Bears, Packers, or any of your favorite out-of-market teams. If outside isn't your thing, you can head on into their remodeled inside bar area and watch NFL Sunday Ticket on their numerous screens and play their adult video games. I hear they have the loosest slots in the Quad Cities. That's Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill, 1228 30th Street in Rock Island, the non-bubble home of For Fantasy's sake. Football season, we're getting to the end here, guys. But if you spent Sundays watching football anywhere but Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, you've been doing it wrong. Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport, is the best place to catch all of your favorite games. And there's still time to make it part of your Sunday football routine. Start your meal off with their famous McGuire's Original Nachos or Bready Nuggets. Then ask about one of their original QC-style pizzas, or be your own quarterback and call an audible and create your own. The Vans crew will be sure that your play call hits pay dirt every time. Vans Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport. Come get served. And now we're joined by Brian Diehard Craighead. How you doing today, Brian?
Good. How are y'all, gentlemen?
We're good. Go Steelers. Another Steelers fan. What is this?
I was proud for my birthday. I just got a Deontay Johnson jersey, so he's my favorite player. And kind of a rough rough night Thursday night, but still.
Oh man, they just didn't show up for the first half. It's just.
Yeah, I couldn't understand. I'm guessing that it's something to do with for an old man, Big Ben, and a 3 or 4 day layoff. But I just anticipated a 30.
Oh, we lost him.
All right, he'll be back.
So I'll ask my favorite question of the day. We'll start with you, Brian, and then we'll go to Nick. Who are we stacking this week?
Well, I mean, I've kind of got a contrarian stack out there for you. I would go with Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara as an interesting stack. I know last year they had a little bit of the reduction in regards to Kamara's production with Hill in there. But I think with both of them possibly being a touchdown opportunity, I kind of like that inexpensive stack.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
A higher stack, I'm also.
Oh, Nick, who are you going with today?
So I like Taysom Hill a lot. It'll be pretty unique to stack him with Kamara. There's the narrative out there is that he doesn't throw the ball to Kamara. But they do have a game on the stat sheet of Taysom Hill targeting Kamara 10 plus times. So definitely an interesting stack for sure. I'm with you there.
How are you guys bringing that back, or are you? I mean, I know
I don't love the bring back, but if I brought anybody back, it'd be Jameson Crowder. Just because Elijah Moore's out, basically every other running back's back out. So
yeah, Jameson Crowder. I mean, he kind of burnt some people a couple weeks ago, but that was with Tevin Coleman and Ty Johnson in the lineup, Elijah Moore in the lineup. I mean, the offensive volume is going to have to go somewhere. They're not going to be able to run the ball on the Saints, so he'll probably get 10 targets.
The only other option you could have for dump downs is Ty Johnson, but I would rather go Crowder. So,
yeah,
I'll tell you my insanity-driven stack this week is Derek Carr and Hunter Renfrow. So that's my.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. That's definitely okay if you want to save some salary.
Yeah.
And then bring it back with like Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. A lot of people are going to want to play. A lot of people are going to want to play Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce in a stack, but not a lot of people are going to go with Derek Carr.
Yeah, I like Carr. I heard y'all talking about Foster Moreau a little bit right before I came on. Now, I like Foster Moreau for volume, but DraftKings adjusted his price from, I think, like $2,700 last week to $39, I think, on the top of my head this week. I'm not sure I love his value, but I do think he'll be active.
Yeah, he's 4K flat.
Yeah. On DraftKings, like Foster Moreau is interesting because he kind of burned everybody last week, so no one wants to play him.
Where are we kind of saving some cash?
Well, for me, the big cash saver is with Keenan Allen out. I'm a Jalen Guyton guy this week, $3,400. And along with that, they've got, Mike Williams is playing as far as I know. I'm pretty sure they activated him yesterday.
Yeah, he's playing.
So the other half of that would be Jared Cook getting some production. So between those two guys, you're only spending $6,600 for basically, Austin Eckler, of course, will be involved. But you're spending some potential upside because I don't think the matchup matters. It's a good one, but Herbert's going to get his numbers regardless. So.
Yeah, they pass the ball just so much. I think Mike Williams' ADOT's going to come down a little bit, which is good for him. When he was crushing early in the season, he was getting a lot more targets kind of closer to the line of scrimmage, which is that's great. He's got Joe Lombardi, which a former Saints offensive coordinator with Mike Thomas. He's going to get a lot of those Mike Thomas type looks, which are really high percentage. It's kind of a coin flip for me between Jalen Guyton and Josh Palmer's the other guy to look out for. Palmer's a bit cheaper. And so if you need the $400 savings on DraftKings, I find myself landing on him more often than Guyton.
That makes perfect sense. Like you said, they both got an equal opportunity. The only reason I went personally with Guyton is Guyton had a big week last week. And so it's kind of been there, done that philosophy for me.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking a little bit before we went live, Nick and I were, how random of a week it is at running back. What are you guys kind of looking at running back wise this week?
Oh, my two favorites for kind of an average value. I think Javonte Williams is still way underpriced. And then along with that, I'd go with Antonio Gibson.
Yeah. With the numbers and stuff, you can't really build a lineup without Antonio Gibson right now, just because, especially if J.D. McKissick was announced out, he's going to be an every down player again. He delivered last week in that role. I don't know why DraftKings didn't move his price up. I guess they were assuming that J.D. McKissick would play this week. But yeah, he's severely underpriced. Another one is severely underpriced is Jeff Wilson. It's a little shakier because Hasty is active and that could be like a 60-40 split. But even at a 60-40 split at 4,400, it's just a smash. Just plug and play. A couple others, if you're those are the cheaper guys I like. A couple other people I like. I'm with you on Javonte Williams as well, underpriced for he definitely earned a little bit more work over Melvin Gordon after last week. But I really like Austin Eckler as one of the higher priced guys. And Leonard Fournette. Buffalo's run defense has been gashed by good offensive running schemes, and I think Tampa Bay is one of those. I think the idea out there is that Buffalo's run defense is tough. If they're not a good run defense. So
yeah, I think we saw that last week. That was pretty embarrassing to have 3 pass attempts, or what was it? 3 pass attempts, 2 completions.
Yes, Star Latulier is out too.
Is there anywhere we're looking at? I tried to save some money with this guy because he's literally the bottom rung option here. And I know you guys hate the Jets, but are we looking at Walter at all?
No.
I don't like him. Talking about for the Jets?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm a Ty Johnson guy.
I know
if I
his
have to
name's not-
choose either one, I'm going Johnson.
Yeah.
Waller was a fluke.
So Ty Johnson's the same exact price as Jeff Wilson. If I'm paying down, I'm going to eat the chalk with Jeff Wilson and get unique elsewhere. I mean, the Saints' run defense is just really good, and the Jets are bad. That's it.
So
And Waller, he didn't seem to do much catching the ball in the backfield last week, so I wouldn't trust either one of them, like you said.
What I mean, I feel like Walter kind of feels like that. Like you'll see him pop in the $1 million winning lineup, but like I'm just not going to get there.
He reminds me of that Chiefs running back. What was it, Gore? Was that his name? That bounced up one week and you haven't heard from him again.
Yeah,
Derek Gore. The funny thing, when he bounced up, I had literally just cut him from my roster in one league, so one of my deeper leagues. So let's put a pin in DFS, and I'll go to the commercials, and then we'll come back here. So
all right, sounds good.
So located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill is home of some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint's is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games, you'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City-style pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spitting QC-style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. Who doesn't need a solid handcuff on their fantasy squad? Grab a bite to eat at Clint's Draft House while watching the noon games. Then head on over across the Moline Rock Island border to the Corner Tap for some libations during the 3 o'clock games. Every Sunday is fun day at the corner with $3 Tall Boys, Bloody Marys, Jack Daniels, and $2 PBR drafts. Head into the Corner Tap, 4018 14th Avenue, Rock Island, and get into the end zone. Hey guys, another nation heard up from. We've got Michael Home Alone Sicoli joining us.
Home Alone, what's up, buddy? Oh man,
right.
Internet seems to be an issue. There he is. What's up, Mike? Coming in hot.
You guys
not quite the Chris Collinsworth slide you were predicting, but
yeah,
we got him here.
Chris Collinsworth slide, and then he let me down.
He's having the same connection issues I was at first. So
yeah,
you guys love how I've used 3 Christmas movies that aren't really Christmas movies to go with. I think
Alone, Lethal Weapon, and Die Hard. There we go.
Yep.
I don't blame you. That's the way to go right now. We still got a couple weeks before Christmas, so
yeah.
So I guess my other favorite question with the stack is who are we definitely, I know Nick had referenced Antonio Gibson, but who are we definitely putting in our lineups? Who's sitting in, 100% of our lineups this week?
Being honest, I get my inexpensive contrarian stack, but my favorite stack of the week is actually Dak and CD. So my lineup build would be Dak, CD, and Gibson as the comeback player. So
yeah, so I like to play tournaments. In my cash lineups, I'm locking in Eckler and Gibson, and then figuring out salary elsewhere because you can kind of save in other spots. Paying down at tight end. I really like just Cowboys in general. For some reason, they're coming in a little bit. They're not coming in very popular. I definitely am going to play a Dak CD Amari Cooper stack or a Dak CD Schultz stack, but I'm kind of sprinkling in Amari Cooper just in my lineups in general, especially with Antonio Gibson. So you got to tell a story, right? So I bet money line Washington. The computer says to bet the money line, the spreadsheets. And if that's the case, if Washington gets up early and is clocking it with Antonio Gibson, that means that the Cowboys are going to have to throw the ball. So Amari Cooper should get there. So I'm playing a lot of Antonio Gibson with Amari Cooper in the same lineup.
That makes a lot of sense. I think, like you said, Schultz could be that reverse player. You could take him for a little bit cheaper value too. So I do like the Cowboys a lot this week for whatever reason.
Yeah, definitely.
What about where are we going if we're not stacking a lineup? Where are we going at quarterback?
Well, I mean, just because he'll probably be trailing, I'm assuming, to the Chiefs, I don't mind Derek Carr, to be perfectly honest. He's sitting, I think, at 5,900 off the top of my head. It's either 59 or 6. I don't mind him at all. And then I've mentioned him already as part of my stack. I don't think he can watch the game. He may, but even last week with 4 interceptions, Taysom Hill scored 27.7 fantasy points, which is amazing to me. You can throw 4 interceptions and still score almost 30 points. So if you had a little stronger stomach, Cam Newton is not the absolute worst, but I wouldn't particularly take him. So
yeah, I think for me it's Taysom Hill. Lock him into your cash game lineup. You don't need to stack him. Just kind of get the rushing and hope he dumps some things off and Alvin Kamara does the rest. I kind of like Cam Newton in tournaments. I don't think anybody's going to play him. You can stack him with DJ Moore and then bring it back with one of Cordero Patterson, Russell Gage, or Kyle Pitts. Like it's like you got to have a strong stomach for that one, but you can kind of play that, and then you don't really have to worry about ownership for the rest of your lineup, just because that's going to be so unique.
So here's an update. I know we're not playing any of those schools anyway, but David Johnson's been put on the reserve COVID list for the Texans. How does that kind of affect? I know we're not playing Rex Burkhead. I can't even name another running back there, but what does that look like there?
Well, I actually kind of like him. I don't even see how I like him at all. But Rex Burkhead to me is a play here. And like I said, I don't even know how I liked him. But when I was building all of my DraftKings and DFS stuff, I actually had him written down as a pivot play. But now that just increases his role. So,
yeah, I'm just taking a look here as things update with that news.
Royce Freeman plays running back there as well, apparently.
Yeah, they're home against Seattle. I don't know, man. It seems tough. He's 4,600. If Jeff Wilson wasn't on the slate, I'd be interested, I think, but I just don't know that I'm going to go there. We'll see.
Does anybody know the current Vegas line on that? Last time I saw it Friday, it was like 10 plus.
Got you here. What do you guys think about Josh Jacobs this week?
I really like Jacobs. He was one of my stronger plays outside of Gibson and Williams.
Yeah, he's pretty popular. I kind of wish he wasn't. I'd be all over him if he wasn't. He's kind of popping up in the model a little bit. He's got a workhorse role. He's finally getting the pass down work. Talented running back. I think the Chiefs they want you to kind of give to beat them on the ground. So Josh Jacobs is a really good play this week.
Seahawks for -9.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that Seahawks team to me, you can't love the Texans, but that 9 just seems a little bit too high to me.
Davis Mills is the quarterback. I don't know. It's just, I think you're fading just the Houston Texans in general, even when there's like volume to be had in that offense. Like, it's probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah, when their implied total is only 16, they're not a real difficult fade for most of the lineup, like you said.
Can you guys see how Sicoli's frozen down there? Like, can you see the
he's not on my screen.
Oh, okay. He's like frozen like this with his hand in front of his face. It's quite humorous to me.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
So what are you guys looking? I know that this is an ugly conversation every week, and I make Brian have it, and I made Nick have it last week. What are we looking at in that DST? I know I often try to save some money down there, but what are you guys looking at?
For cheap defense, was that the question?
Yeah.
I don't know why I like them, but I actually have the Browns, and my favorite out of that would be the Panthers at I believe it's 2,800. So those are my two. And I'll be honest, I always try to build my whole lineup around cheap defense. I know I do a show on Friday night, and some of them sometimes use the more expensive defenses, but I say value there because that's where I'm going. Those two, and always under 3,200 or less. And this week, those are my two.
Yeah, you can play those. I don't really play the popular defenses in tournaments just because ownership doesn't really correlate all that well with defensive outcomes. But so where I'm going in tournaments more, those are the best plays on the slate. Carolina, Cleveland and Seattle are the best plays on the slate. You can kind of get them at different price points, like 2,800 for Cleveland and Carolina, and then you got to pay up a little bit more for Seattle. But I really like Baltimore projects pretty well. It's a road defense, so that kind of is a little iffy, but that's the defense I'm kind of paying down for. And then if I'm not going with Baltimore, I'm going all the way down and just punting. I'm just gonna use defense as a salary saver.
Sure. Yeah. Completely understand there. I mean, what else? Where else? Tight end. What are we looking at tight end wise? Are we spending up on Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, or are we kind of?
I wish I could. I never am able to do that one at all. So to me, like I mentioned earlier, one of my favorites is going to be Jared Cook at 3,200, and then it looks like Ricky Seals-Jones. I mean, I guess it's past time for actives to be declared, so I'm assuming he's playing. He's at 36. If he doesn't play, Bates at 3,000 or 3,200 for Washington. Washington always uses a tight end. It's just a matter of who's healthy.
Yeah. It looks like Seals-Jones is going to be active today. I haven't really been on him. I did mention in a write-up that I did Bates just because of that very idea that the tight end role in Washington is really valuable. At 3,600, it's not great value, honestly. The position in general, all of the like high ceiling guys, Kelsey, Gronk, Kittle, Andrews, they're all going to be really under rostered. And that's just because it's tough to pay up a tight end. Gronk is going to catch a lot of ownership in tournaments just because people are going to stack that Tampa Bay Buffalo game. I'm kind of with that as well. So I'm okay with paying the $6K for Gronk, eating kind of the ownership there just because he's got a pretty high ceiling. Kittle's interesting just because he had that big blow up game and doesn't seem like a lot of people are going to play him this week. Kelsey's always like, I have a good feeling that this week is like maybe a week where, like last week, where a big tight end game is going to kind of break the slate, you know? So if you want to be contrarian, kind of be conscious about paying up at tight end. Otherwise, the where I'm going with tight end kind of in most of my lineups is I'm not going to play Hooper because he's too popular. And there's a lot of ways he can fail. Jared Cook's popular as well. I'm probably going to stay away from him. Gerald Everett's interesting just because, I mean, Seattle's going to be able to do whatever they want. And the narrative out there is that he sucks because he like fumbled the ball. He caused an interception. He just really, really messed a lot of things up last time he played. Going back to the well with James O'Shaughnessy, he kind of burnt me, but he was not as bad as Foster Moreau. So I kind of gained some leverage there by playing him last week. Again, the ball's got to go somewhere in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence seems to like to target his tight ends. And then one interesting one, I mentioned him earlier, Brock Wright, minimum 2,500. You can punt the position. And I mean, if the Lions are able to move the ball at all, I think Wright has a chance to score a touchdown. It's not pretty though. Not pretty.
Before we hit commercial and move on to running backs, wide receivers, who is one player that you think we're going to see in that $1 million lineup this week?
For me, it's Jerry Jeudy or Julio Jones. No one's going to play them, and they have pretty solid ceilings.
I could agree with both those. I think I would lean Jones just because just Brown is still out. So I think I would lean him. And I don't know if you can ever trust Bridgewater too much, even despite a great matchup this week. So I agree with Julio because Jacksonville can't stop anybody on the pass. So.
Well, Brian, appreciate you joining us for DFS, and we're going to see you here in about half hour.
Sounds good, guys.
All right.
Y'all have a good 30 minutes.
All right. We'll see you here in a bit, Brian.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, I do want to mention we are keeping in our thoughts, and I know Brian and his family are kind of affected by this. We're keeping in the thoughts all the people who were affected by the tornado that hit the Midwest. over the last couple of days. I've got some friends down in Edwardsville, Illinois, who had the Amazon facility collapse, and Brian said he had been out of electricity for a while, and my wife's family lives in Arkansas, so we're definitely keeping all those people affected, as well as in a more football/somber note, the family and the loved ones of Demaryius Thomas, who passed suddenly at 33. I have a buddy who was really good friends with him, so he was definitely my first thought when I saw that the other day. So definitely I know we love football, but those two things are going to be talked on almost every broadcast today. So just keep those people in your thoughts as we go, and let's make some money this week and maybe make ourselves feel a little bit better.
Let's get it. And we're joined by Michael Home Alone Sicoli.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Home Alone Sicoli. Where's that from?
Well, Nick was Lethal Weapon, and Brian was Die Hard. So we're getting in the Christmas theme with Christmas movies that are kind of Christmas movies, but not really.
Is Home Alone not really a Christmas movie? Oh, Home Alone's entirely.
You can't say Home Alone is definitely a Christmas movie and then say Die Hard might not be. I mean, Die Hard, they were at a Christmas party.
They were at a Christmas party, but Home Alone is centered around leaving for the holidays. The impetus for them leaving.
He was going to visit his wife. It was
a plot driver. It was a plot driver.
Yeah.
How you doing,
I just see when the aroma, the atmosphere of that house is just as Christmassy as it is. It felt more Christmassy than Die Hard.
There's a Christmas tree in Die Hard too.
Yeah, but there were cutouts of people's silhouettes. That's the next level. Actually, if you read the rule book, it's if you have silhouettes, it makes it a Christmas movie.
All right. Well, we've already spent too much time talking about that. We have the people need the takes. I got one for Michael Sicoli here.
Let's hit this commercial real quick, and then we'll come burn his face.
All right.
So while my words were hard to find recently, Bad Boys Pizza isn't hard to find, and they're now serving in 3 different locations. You guys don't know where any of these places are, but Moline, Davenport, and downtown Davenport at River Music Xperiance. And their restaurant and bar stays open late, not only on the weekends, but weekdays too. Bad Boys specializes in Quad City style pizza and daily specials, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. They also offer food carryout and pizza delivery options at your convenience. They have a full bar at all 3 locations with 24 taps in Moline, 32 taps in Davenport, and 20 in downtown Davenport. They also host exciting events such as Quad City Storm parties, NFL Sunday ticket giveaways, and other sports viewing parties. Bad Boys always has the coldest beer, and the atmosphere is always welcoming. For great people, drinks, and Quad City style pizza, choose Bad Boys. Durham Remodeling has been serving the Quad Cities area since 1973. With nearly 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all your home improvement projects. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715. It's Sunday Fun Day over at Frick's Tap. Iowa's second oldest bar is guaranteed to have your favorite team on one of their 13 TV screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. Get on into Frick's now, where they will be joined by Smoked Out Smokehouse every Sunday. And boy, does that menu sound great. Barbecue smoked ribs, pork chops, wings, you name it, you can get it during your football game over at Frick's. So for Frick's sake, head into Frick's Tap, 1402 West 3rd Street, Davenport. All right, let's hot take Sicoli.
Yeah, Julio Jones. Are you playing him today?
Oh God, I play him if I can. If I can find another option, I'll find another option. He really, even when healthy, we got to put the name aside here. He hasn't really done it this year. It's a single game with double-digit points. Like him against Seattle. I'm not overly impressed against Seattle. And while Jacksonville is a lovely matchup, he comes back. He's the lone dog in that offense. it's an offense that's been struggling. I think you can play them. I think you just have to temper expectations that this isn't the Julio Jones we've been expecting.
Mike Williams is 6,000. Julio Jones is 5,400. So I like him as a pivot off of Mike Williams, who is probably the most popular player on the whole slate. But in just head to head, Mike Williams is the better play. But
before we get into running backs, we do have a question for you guys.
Yeah, what's up?
Jordan Rangel, our resident top fan, wants to know, how about them Vikings?
The Vikings toyed with my emotions. I wrote that game off well early. Like, first quarter, I wrote that off, and the Steelers tried their best.
The best thing you could have done with that game is just gone to bed at halftime. But I did not.
Yeah.
I did not go to bed at halftime.
It wasn't worth the heartache and the confusion that I had when Chase Claypool did whatever Chase Claypool did. But that's been talked about to no end.
So we've touched on quite a few of these guys already. Again, Cordero Patterson. Did you ever think that at the beginning of the season we'd be sitting in week 14 and Cordero Patterson's getting you into the playoffs?
Imagine drafting a running back this year. Just imagine drafting a running back early. Could not be me.
That's fantasy football for you. And I mean, it definitely factored in with the whole Calvin Ridley situation that was totally unforeseen. All of a sudden, his snaps started shooting up around that week 5, the bye week mark. But even before that, he was just being used in the offense. It's something that I think we have to consider of when we start seeing those early season blips, even for random breakouts like Cordero Patterson. When it comes with a coaching change, I think we need to start taking those a little bit more seriously. It's something I missed on, and I thought it was going to be a blip. It's a 30-year-old breakout, but new coaches, they find their guys and they use them. Like even Jamel Agnew on the Jacksonville for a bit there. They found his guy.
Let's not ever credit
Urban Meyer, who should be fired by next week. Yeah, absolutely.
So I know that you had touched on this in DFS as well, but I want you to kind of expand a little bit more, because I'm trying to frame this. This guy was loved early on this show, and we always had a rapid fire. Will Leonard Fournette score? And now we have Leonard Fournette as our RB3 for the week.
Yeah. Leonard Fournette's an awesome play this week. He's going to have a lot of opportunities down near the goal line, probably. I think this game is just going to shoot out like crazy. He's going to be popular in DFS, but rightly so. He's got that 3-down workhorse role. He gets all the goal line touches. Gio Bernard is a non-factor. Gio Bernard dropped a pass from Tom Brady, and we've never heard from him again, which I think is hilarious. What do you think about Lenny this week, Mike?
I mean, his workload this year has been everything I didn't think he could get. I mean, he's caught 6 passes in 4 straight games, at least 6 passes. That's obscene for almost any running back, honestly. That's DeAndre Swift levels of usage. So you add that in with the offensive line, you add it in with the offense, you add it in with the rushing workload he gets, and he's a locked-in play every week, which, again, the Fournette breakout is almost as surprising to me as the Cordero Patterson because he looked toast last year to me. But, yeah.
He almost got cut.
He almost got cut.
He did get cut.
He did technically get cut, yes.
Yeah. But, I mean, the Buffalo defense has also been struggling. Like, this is not the same red line defense that, you're going to see in your fantasy matchup and go, oh, they've been run over. They got run over by Jonathan Taylor. They got run over last week.
Their nose, was it a nose guard? I don't know.
Nose tackle.
Yeah. Nose tackle. There we go. Their nose tackle.
Guys, remember, fantasy football guys, not real fantasy guys.
Yeah, right.
Not real football guys. Emphasis on the fantasy here.
Yeah. So Star Latulier is out, and he is kind of like the engine of their defense in terms of like what they do to stop the run. They weren't doing great with him. He's out this week. So there's a chance that Tampa Bay just runs all over them. Honestly.
Are there any concerns for you down here at 11 with Connor, with Chase Edmonds looking to be back this week?
I mean, last I saw, I think Edmonds is no lock to come back. I think they saw on Monday. I think the current report is on Monday they're going to see how he feels and they might activate him.
Yeah.
I would expect him to come back, but I wouldn't expect him to get that workload he immediately got. And they've been and James Conner's been playing well, so I
Very
do think
well.
it's still. I think they're going to ease Edmonds in. So this week isn't as much concern to me as much as a tough matchup against the Rams can be.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something to look out for going forward.
Yeah, it's looking like, I mean, he'll be if he's active, it's kind of like as an emergency backup. He'll probably get like 6 to 10 touches or so, but I would not worry about James Conner if Chase Edmonds is active. Although he probably gets bumped down a couple slots. He's probably not an RB1 with Chase Edmonds active, honestly.
So we talked a little bit about this guy before the show. What are we looking at with Sony Michel? I know last week we kind of bumped him down because Henderson was playing, and then he showed out. And so what are we doing with him this week?
Just lock him in. RB1 usage. I don't know that the Rams are going to be able to run the ball a whole lot, so that's why he's not really in that top 12. But yeah, I mean, he's a good play this week.
So down here at 17, I do have this guy on a roster. What are our thoughts with Robinson? It's kind of a goofy situation this week.
The goofy situation.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean it's puzzling for James Robinson, and it's to no fault of his own, to no fault of Trevor Lawrence. It's not even fault of the terrible offense the Jaguars find themselves in. It's all Urban Meyer pulling him for no reason at all. Remember, he spent a first-round pick to try to replace Robinson. Then he signed Carlos Hyde, and it's just Carlos Hyde's on the field. So the floor is low because of what Urban Meyer can do to this running game because of the power he holds in the organization. But all that being said, I think you still have to play him. He's been solid outside of the occasional dud. You just have to be aware that could happen. You shouldn't be surprised if Urban Meyer decides that Carlos Hyde should be the running back 1 on the week.
Yeah, James Robinson, a little bit of squeaky wheel from the quarterback. So I think he's going to get more usage. They're not going to really play around with like a 70-30 split even. Like he's going to be in a lot. So, I mean, I'm not going to play him in DFS, but I mean, if I have him on a lineup, I'm definitely starting him with confidence over any of the waiver wire pickups this week.
Yeah, obviously, we do know now that Pollard's not in this week. What are your thoughts here with Dylan and Aaron Jones? What's your thoughts on that situation?
I think I think it's going to be more of an even split now that Dylan has showed that he's just an absolute beast. It's interesting that so these rankings are based off of the numbers in the industry and a lot of projections kind of being aggregated. It's interesting that AJ Dillon comes in so high and Aaron Jones comes in lower. Do we have any information about is Aaron Jones, are they still easing him back in? What's going on with that?
See, they had the luxury of a week 13 bye. So I'm actually a little bit surprised that Aaron Jones is as low as he is. I'm surprised that AJ Dillon's as high as he is. Listen, Dillon got the rock, but that was also when Jones was being eased in. Jones only saw 46, 49% snaps in week 10 and week 11 when he got hurt, missed a week, and then came back. So he had a whole bye week to get back, and I think this is kind of the time when we start seeing Aaron Jones be the Aaron Jones we know and love. So I'm playing him over Dillon if I have that option.
I'm making him an executive decision right here for everybody. We're going to flip-flop Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. We're just going to do that.
I support that.
Yeah, the last NA news that I'm finding here on Jones was just about him coming back, only having 10 touches, and then them using Dillon to salt out the clock against the Rams. So nothing serious. Looks like he's come back pretty well from that injury.
Yeah. Flip-flop AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones, everybody. Sorry about that.
We talked a little bit DFS segment prior about Javonte Williams. What are your feelings there? I know your rankings kind of remove all logic, like all of your brain waves.
Yeah.
But
so Mike Sicoli had declared Javonte Williams the future of the NFL last week, and he delivered. But Melvin Gordon's back this week, so that's why he's an RB2 for me this week. As you can see, Melvin Gordon is sitting at 20. That sounds about right to me. Plenty of games where they've actually both been valuable as RB2s. I've been kind of riding Melvin Gordon on a dynasty team that is a little thin at running back, and he's been great. I think that, so from a DFS perspective, Javonte Williams is going to be really popular, and I don't think he should be. Just because Melvin Gordon is going to come back, and I don't think that Javonte Williams stole the job. I don't think Melvin Gordon got Wally pipped.
I don't think they'll stop using Gordon. I do think it'll be more of a split in favor of Williams than we have seen in the past. In the past, it was like pretty clear 50-50. I think now we're going to start seeing 60-40, 65-35. And that's all Javonte needs, is if he starts scoring touchdowns. We said all year, he has the workload, he has the talent, he has the yards even at times, the passing work. He just hasn't scored. So if they start using him on the goal line, where last week he showed he can easily do it, even though we all know he could from the beginning, I think this is where we can start seeing that split start to happen. I completely agree that Melvin Gordon's not going away, and he will limit his upside.
They are playing Detroit, and Detroit
exactly.
has literally nobody. They are an expansion level team if they're lucky at this point. So I honestly would not surprise me if we get a big game out of Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Yeah.
You do say Javonte Williams kind of proved he could be. He didn't really score a rushing touchdown last week.
No, but he still got it down through the air, which was right on the goal line. It was the same type of full contact thing. And God, we saw in week 12 against the Chargers, he ran right through him. I'm puzzled on why he's not used there, but to each their own. Vic Fangio, do what you want to do. You're coaching for your life. And I think that factors in. He's coaching for his life. He's going to play who he thinks he's going to get him to win. And honestly, they have to start getting Javonte the ball more. I really do think that last week was a bit of a switch. We see it in the second half with rookies all the time.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon, I think the reason why he's so popular with the coaching staff is because he's good in pass protection. That's usually what it boils down to with why these vets stick around. When we have obviously fresher legs, better just talent in general right now at this point in their careers, Javonte Williams, but he's still probably figuring out the ins and outs of an NFL offense. So you got to keep that in mind as well.
So we touched on this briefly too with David Johnson out with the COVID. We're still leaving Rex Burkhead down here in RB3 purgatory, correct?
It's tough. I'm still wrestling with that one a little bit. I'd probably move him ahead of Devin Singletary into the RB2 range, honestly.
I was going to say the same thing. I might also be bumping Ty Johnson up a little bit personally in full PPR leagues, just because of the volume he should see with Elijah Moore and Corey Davis out. And Jeff Wilson might be worth a look as well, given he's most likely the 1A, but you never know how it runs out in San Fran. But I'd play Rex Burkhead, who might be on your wire right now, over most of the. I'm surprised Singletary's as high as he is. He terrifies me. As much as a Singletary guy I want to be.
Yeah, Singletary is not a great play this week. It is interesting that JaMychal Hasty and Jeff Wilson don't really project all that well. This is post Eli Mitchell news as well. It just seems like the spreadsheets, the numbers kind of think that that maybe that game shoots out a little bit and there's going to be more passing work. And two, Jeff Wilson and JaMychal Hasty might not be Kyle Shanahan's favorite players. And he's very much a favorite, he likes his guys. Deebo Samuel is active today as well. And he could steal 3 to 4 rushes. I get the sense that he's going to come back and just plug back in. I don't know that they're going to ease him back in today.
Absolutely. So good segue. We'll go to commercial here. We'll come back. We'll talk a little who's up, who's down in actives. We'll jump into wide receivers, and then we'll take us home with rapid fire and questions. Bad Boys Pizza isn't hard to find, now serving in 3 different locations: Moline, Davenport, and downtown Davenport at River Music Xperiance. Their restaurant and bar stays open late, not only on weekends, but weekdays too. Bad Boy specializes in Quad City style pizza and daily specials, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. They also offer food carryout and pizza delivery options at your convenience. They have a full bar at all 3 locations with 24 taps in Moline, 32 taps in Davenport, and 20 taps in downtown Davenport. They also host exciting events such as Quad City Storm parties, NFL Sunday ticket giveaways, and other sports viewing parties. Bad Boys always has the coldest beer, and the atmosphere is always welcoming. For great people, drinks, and Quad City style pizza, choose Bad Boys. Located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill is home with some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint's is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games? You'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City-style pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC-style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. Who doesn't need a solid handcuff on their fantasy squad? Grab a bite to eat at Clint's Draft House while watching the noon games. Then head on over across the Moline Rock Island border to the corner tap for some libations during the 3 o'clock games. Every Sunday is fun day at the corner with $3 tall boys, Bloody Marys, Jack Daniels, and $2 PBR drafts. Head into the corner tap, 4018 14th Avenue, Rock Island, and get into the end zone. So, boys, let me ask you this before we get into the inactives. Do you guys have any leagues that are in the playoffs this week?
Nope, none for me.
Nope, not on my end as well.
I mean, what are your thoughts? I know that. What was that, Scully?
I was going to say it's how it should be. I think we added a week to the year, and then we just bump everything a week back. I support those. I thought it was interesting to have maybe a 2-week championship leg, but I got shut down in both my leagues about that.
I had gotten because we're in the situation where we're kind of looking for like rule changes going into the next season. And one of our managers in our league had suggested doing a 11-week regular season where you play each team and then each round is 2 weeks. And I don't hate it, but I don't like it because especially that might work in redraft, but I don't think that works in dynasty because you're setting up your team for a long term. And if you have half your team out, weeks 12 and 13, you were not really deciding whose team is the best. We're kind of deciding who got the luckiest on buys, in my opinion. I might be wrong. Probably am.
So is beyond.
If you want to hear, in our ESPN league that we're all in, for fantasy sake, I am second in points for, but I am most in points again, and I missed out on the playoffs. I missed out on it as of like 2 weeks ago. So there's I like to have the 6th spot if we're doing a 12-man league. I like to have that 6th spot go to the person with the most points for. I think it's a good balance of you still get the 1 through 5 of record, but that 6 goes through the most points for of the rest.
The most points for of everybody remaining, is that what you said?
Of 6 to 12. So okay. 6 seed could have the most points for, and that could work, but maybe the 9 seed has the most points for. Like my first year of my home dynasty league, the team in that 6 seed who got in only because of the points for, because their points against schedule was just so unfair. They made it to the finals. They were 5 points away from being plug and just won that one. But yeah,
in my home league, I've won something like, I don't know, 6 of 8 titles. And the only year I didn't win the titles because I didn't make the playoffs, and I went 7-6, scored the most points in the league, and missed the playoffs. So, all right. So inactives before we get to wide receivers. Cowboys, only guy fantasy relevance here is Tony Pollard. They've got their offensive line back. Washington, no J.D. McKissick, no Antonio Gandy Golden, and I'm only going to say this guy because I want to say his name. No Corn Elder. He's a cornerback. The Jags. I mean, Is there anybody fantasy relevant, period? No Brandon Linder, no Jacob Hollister. For the Titans, nobody really. A.J. Brown's still out, but nobody ruled inactive. That's a fantasy relevance. The Seahawks, Travis Homer's out. He had that big special teams touchdown, but you weren't really playing him anyway. Texans, obviously, no Deshaun Watson. Hey, tight end Jeff Driscoll. He's not listed here. I don't know if he's active or got cut. What happened here?
Tight end Jeff Driscoll. Low key thick. That man. But anyway, yeah, we're not listing Jeff Driscoll until we actually see him on the field and catching a pass. So
the Raiders, as we know, no Waller, no Denzel Perryman. That's an impactful. No Carl Nassib. The Chiefs, as we talked before, no L'Jarius Sneed. And I want to say this guy's name too. The Chiefs are without cornerback, who they just elevated yesterday, but they're without DiCaprio Boodle. That's a fun name.
Wow.
Fantastic.
And then the other name, no offensive tackle, Prince Tega Wahugo. Saints, what's up?
I'm just jealous of these names.
Saints, no Ryan Ramczyk. Jets, no Tevin Coleman. They're without both Michael Carter Jr. and Michael Carter II. Falcons, no Josh Rosen. Nobody cares. Nobody big time for the Panthers as well. Ravens, no Jimmy Smith, no Patrick Ricard, no Miles Boykin. Browns, no Greg Newsome, no Ronnie Harrison, no Harrison Bryant. That's it for the noon games. So let's talk about wide receivers because nobody cares who's playing and not playing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on 1 second. If I'm not mistaken, and it might have already been mentioned, but Njoku's on the COVID list as well. Harrison Bryant's out. Austin Hooper's the wolf in Cleveland right now. I think you could play him in a pinch. I'll throw that up.
Would you say that Austin Hooper's home alone in the tight end room?
Yeah, Deej. He's home alone. Yeah. Fair point. He's definitely home alone.
While you guys were discussing the inactives and stuff, I'm locking Rex Burkhead into every lineup that I can. Which I mean, here we are, week 14.
Yeah, that's
week 14. You may need to win to make the playoffs, and we're firing up Rex Burkhead.
Yes, we are.
So I guess the guy, and I know again we're moving all Twitter impacts, all mental impacts here. The machine spit out T. Higgins as a wide receiver 1 this week.
Let's go.
Let's talk about T. Higgins.
I mean, he's getting the most targets on that team. Jamar Chase is still projecting ahead of him.
Right.
Jamar Chase really broke a lot of hearts by not only dropping that ball, but it turning into an interception, which, I mean, that was a turning point in that game in the sense that, I mean, that's what kind of helped it become a blowout and then kind of shut everything down from there. But yeah, I'm a big T. Higgins guy on DraftKings. Like you get some salary savings with him. He's not popular. I'm kind of warming up to a little bit of a double stack here with Joe Burrow because I think people are worried about his pinky, but I think he's fine.
Dude, watching that game last week and watching him even hand off the ball was pretty excruciating.
Yeah.
What are we really? I mean, Hunter Renfrow, a wide receiver 7. Is this just a pure volume ranking, or
he's good? People don't want to admit it, but he's good. He's got a receding hairline at like 27 years old. But I mean, this guy, like you watch him play. Here's a tape take. You watch him play. He fights for every single yard. Like he catches a 3-yard comeback and then he gets 5 yards out of it, like every single time. If they're going to score, it's likely coming through him or Josh Jacobs. So big Hunter Renfrow guy this week.
Yeah. He's seen 9 or more targets in all but 1 game since his week 8 bye. He's got all the targets and all the receptions you could want. He's been turning it into yards recently. He's been, stretching that field a little bit and running after the catch. He's up like Nick just said, he's a hard worker. He's fun to watch. He's great in short yard situations. And, I mean, Derek Carr only has eyes for him. So nothing's going to change here. KC's a good matchup. Line him up.
The league reference here, is he a gym rat?
Yeah, he's a gym rat. He's a lunch pail guy, first in, last out. You know, all that stuff that we say about these white slot receivers.
Got those down, yeah.
So DK Metcalf here, he's kind of struggled the last few weeks. What's your reaction to the Sims popping him out here at 15?
2 words: air yards. He's getting them. We're gonna cash it. We're gonna cash in eventually. I don't know if anyone plays poker or follows poker. There's this term, Sklansky bucks, which is basically unrealized profits based off of good decision making. Someone's gonna win a lot of money playing DK Metcalf one of these weeks, and I mean, against Houston, I could see it.
I know you'd mentioned in DFS and in the running back segment, and I wanted to talk a little bit more here, and that's why I kind of cut you off and went to commercial. Let's talk a little Debo.
It's just like he's projecting since he's come back in. He's projecting well.
I feel like this might even be a low projection. Like I think that we could say him finish in that wide receiver 1.
What was it? A groin injury? They didn't put him on IR. Yeah,
just
I think
missed
he's
one.
fine.
Yeah, I mean, Deebo Samuel is the guy when he's on the field, they find a way to get him the ball. And I think we saw with the Rams, we've seen with the Rams of how important guys like Deebo Samuel, Robert Woods injury, how important he is to the offense. Like Deebo Samuel the 49ers go as Deebo Samuel goes because he can do anything on the field and he keeps the defense guessing. He missed a week and he's still the wide receiver.
Cliche the rest of this show.
Yes,
I hope so.
Right.
We're just wearing Sakuli out right now.
Fine. I have my jacket on that you guys all relentlessly made fun of, but that's fine. I don't hold grudges here in Connecticut. I don't. But what I do hold is Deebo Samuel shares right in my lineup because he's going to be amazing. He missed a week. He's still the wide receiver 3, and you're playing him because he's that good.
Now that we don't have Doug and Chris here to fawn over this guy, I need a legitimate reaction about Darnell Mooney.
I mean, I guess you can. I mean, he's projecting better than Mike Williams, which seems wrong. Yeah, that's Darnell Mooney. We're not playing Darnell Mooney. Justin Fields is playing this week. We're not playing Darnell Mooney.
The question is, who's Jaire Alexander following? Is he going to follow Allen Robinson's first game back, or does he follow Darnell Mooney? I think a lot of people are assuming it's going to be Allen Robinson, but I wouldn't be so sure because there's points allowed here, but just not to Jaire.
It's absolutely going to be Darnell
Robinson. Mooney.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So in Fields' last start against the Ravens, Darnell Mooney saw 16 targets. So Justin Fields is tossing the ball that way.
That's why the Sims love him so much, honestly.
Yes.
And they're down on Mike Williams just because like all year he's got this high ADOT and low target numbers. Like, I mean, that's an instance where I personally I go in and kind of change some things for Mike Williams. Like Mike Williams is a wide receiver 1 this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amari Cooper is coming in low.
That's what I was gonna say. What were our thoughts with Cooper coming that low?
It just feels like a kind of like the same spot they were in week 1 against Tampa Bay. Obviously, Washington's not nearly as good of a defense. Everyone thought they were coming into the year, but they can stop the run, even though they're a little banged up on defense. And I think that they're going to be able to at home compete enough where the Cowboys are going to have to air it out. Zeke's banged up, Pollard's out. I just think it just sets up as the offense is going to kind of flow through the pass game, and whenever that happens with the Cowboys, like all these Cowboys receivers can go off.
It screams Amari. It really does.
Yeah. My biggest question on this screen, and I love being asked this myself, if you're looking at the 12 guys here, which one of them is most likely to finish in the top 12 at wide receiver?
I mean, I think Amari Cooper's the obvious answer that I stand by wholeheartedly. But if I took out the obvious answer, I'd go Jerry Jeudy in another plus matchup. I mean, he's still seeing the targets that we wanted him to. And it's just that it hasn't totally come together. And I think they've been running the ball a lot. I don't think that changes. But Jerry Jeudy can always rip off a long ball. And I also would be surprised if Van Jefferson and Julio Jones made that jump as well.
Yeah. I'm not really in on Van Jefferson, but
Way to list half of them, Sicoli, and say, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
I'm gonna plant. I'm gonna flag. I'm gonna flag plant.
Amari Cooper. I was trying to challenge
Okay,
myself.
so you're planting Amari Cooper. I'm planting Julio Jones. He's not dead yet.
I'm gonna say Kirk or Van Jefferson.
Wow. Okay.
One of them's gonna get lost. Somebody's gonna forget to cover one of those two guys, and they're gonna end up scoring some tutters. The answer is none of them. That's why none of them are on that list, and they're down here.
Yeah.
So, boys, last commercial break. On the other side, we're going to talk a little questions and rapid fires and see our way out of here.
All right.
Serving the Quad Cities area since 1872, Frick's Tap is always a great choice for your Sunday fun day activities. We only know it's 1872 because that's roughly the same year Doug was born. Iowa's second oldest bar is guaranteed to have your favorite team on one of their 13 TV screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. Get on into Frick's now, where they will be joined by Smoked Out Smokehouse every Sunday. And boy, does that menu look great. Barbecue, smoked ribs, pork chops, wings, you name it, you can get it during your football game over at Frick's. So for Frick's sake, head into Frick's Tap, 1402 West 3rd Street, Davenport. And that's the world's quickest commercial break because I read the other commercial last time. So we've got our questions. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes.
Our cousin Bo wants to know, pick two, non-PPR. Nick Chubb, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Gibson.
Woo, good problem to have. I'm going Lenny and Antonio Gibson.
That's what I'm going as well.
Just because Kareem Hunt's back. So you're muted, Mike.
Very good luck. You'd think 2 years of COVID and online learning would get me to check that beforehand, but I tend to where you guys do, and I never bench Chubb, but I play Gibson and Fournette over him. That feels wrong.
So as good as that lineup looks, he also wants to know in PPR he needs to start one. Laviska Shenault, Tajay Sharp, or DeMarcus Robinson.
The cost of having those running backs. Oh, that's tough.
I don't think it's the same league. I think that he has one league with awesome receivers and one league.
Allow me to dream, Deej, that this team has the best running backs ever and the worst receivers ever. So what was it? Tajay Sharp,
Laviska Shenault, and DeMarcus Robinson.
Oh God, I think it has to be Visca, right? I mean, I think it has to be Visca.
I'm going Laviska there. DeMarcus Robinson doesn't even really pop up in my projections, really. Byron Pringle is the guy that the numbers like more than Robinson, which is it's not good. The Chiefs need to figure out this wide receiver 2 situation. Do you have any influence over there in the Quad Cities?
Well, the wide receiver 2 is Travis Kelce, but
yeah, they need something else.
Speaking of Travis Kelce, non-PPR pick 2, Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, Travis Kelce.
Non-PPR?
Non-PPR.
That's a tough one. I'm going Diggs and Kelce. Deebo has the chance to not have a full role today. So,
yeah. I same way.
I don't believe that, but that it's a factor. And when you have that decision to make, then I think that's the tiebreaker.
Yep, completely agree.
Jake Scudder wants to know Amari Cooper or Darnell Mooney.
Oh, Cooper all day.
Cooper. Even though our rankings may say otherwise.
I told him Mooney. I think that the targets are there.
Okay.
Adrian Warren wants to know Jamar Jefferson or Austin Walter.
Jefferson.
Oh, yeah. Oh, geez. Jamar Jefferson, just because he has a higher chance of catching passes.
Go see if Rex Burkhead's on the wire. That's the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Jordan Rangel wants to know Julio Jones or Cole Beasley.
Depends on what you want. It's easy for us to say that, but if you want a floor, play Cole Beasley. If you want a ceiling, play Julio Jones. But I tend to play for ceiling, so I'd probably play Julio Jones.
Yeah, I think the right call there is Beasley, honestly, in a head-to-head season-long thing. Like, I'm not really playing Beasley a whole lot in DFS, but I'm electing to go with Julio there. But in a redraft league, head-to-head, I'd go Beasley.
Jordan also wants to know Jameson Crowder or Van Jefferson.
Van Jefferson for me.
Agreed.
I don't know if you guys caught that heartwarming moment between him and Sean McVay last week, where he's like, "Thanks for believing me, coach," after he scored a touchdown. So I love Van Jefferson. I think
I'll ride Van Jefferson. Yeah, I like him too.
Van Jefferson is on my roster in the league that I'm playing in the playoffs this week. So
let's go.
Oh yeah.
So Cole, if you're familiar, I don't know. Nick got to hear it. Don't know if you're familiar with the league I'm in the playoffs this weekend. It's called the Scott Fish Bowl.
Oh, yeah, of course I am. I might be familiar. It's because we got big-time DJ over here, that's all.
Jordan also wants to know Dontrell Hilliard, Cortland Sutton, or Damian Williams in the flex. I'm going Hilliard.
Yeah, definitely Hilliard.
Jordan also wants to know Jamar Chase or Mike Evans in the flex. He already has played Jefferson and Deontay Johnson this week. So he's humble bragging that he's loaded at wide receiver. And I'm saying Jamar Chase.
Yeah, you got to play Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue there.
Jordan also wants to know Dante Foreman or Melvin Gordon III.
Foreman. I'm confidently throwing Foreman against the Jags right now.
Yeah, Foreman. I like Foreman.
Pick 3, Godwin, Hopkins, Chase, Mike Williams. And he's already played Justin Jefferson.
Godwin, Hopkins, Chase, Mike Williams.
And he played Justin Jefferson. That's an important caveat.
He's also humble bragging at wide receiver in this league as well.
What are these teams? I need to get in these leagues.
I'm going to say Godwin, Chase, and Mike Williams. I'm going to say sit Hopkins.
I'd sit Hopkins he's going against Ramsey. Hopkins will be fine because Hopkins is Hopkins.
Yeah.
But Jim a real factor.
Definitely Godwin, Chase, and Williams. Yeah.
He needs a tight end streamer in 4 leagues because he has Darren Waller, Hooper, Moreau, Seals Jones, or Evan Ingram. Or somebody not listed, I guess.
Probably Hooper.
Yep, Hooper.
I'm going to be burned by Foster Moreau. And then his last question here. He's in the semis this week. His leagues, 8 of 16, half the league made the playoffs, 8 of 16. And they started the playoffs this week. He has, I want to non-misquote him here. Okay, well, in the question, he told me he has Jonathan Taylor out and DeAndre Swift hurt. So he needs to fill both running back spots here. And the best options for him I already told him Rex Burkhead, not available on a team. So his best options are Amir Abdullah, Rashad Penny, Zach Moss, or Carlos Hyde.
Oof. Abdullah and Penny.
Abdullah and Penny. Yeah, I've heard some good things about Penny. I was all prepared to make a little argument about him real quick, but Pete Carroll says he's going to be a big part of the offense, guys.
Pete Carroll's a liar. How about that? But given the options there, you gotta take a shot on Penny.
Yep,
I would agree. All right, so rapid fire time. You ready, boys?
Let's get it. I'll try not to explain my takes. Rapid fire.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin over under 61.5 receiving yards.
Over
for me as well. Alvin Kamara over under 108.5 total yards.
Over.
Under. Don't think they need him.
Over. Better bet. Dontrell Hilliard over 44.5 or Dante Foreman over 63.5.
Hilliard.
Foreman over.
DK Metcalf over under 59.5 receiving yards.
Over. Let's go.
Yes, agreed. DK Metcalf to the moon. Top scoring Week 14 quarterback.
Lamar Jackson.
Oh God. Oh
Tom
no.
Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady. I don't want to be unoriginal. Tom Brady.
I want to redact my Lamar Jackson. I don't know why I said that. Josh Allen. Redacted.
Kyle Pitts over under 40.5 receiving yards.
Over. It's got to be over one of these days. Over.
Nick Chubb over under 68.5 rushing yards.
Over.
I'm taking all these overs. I don't bet this way, everybody. Just so you know.
Evan Ingram over under 31.5 receiving yards.
Against
Under.
the new Chodoc.
Under.
Under. I'll take an under on Evan Ingram all day.
I have an irrational love for Evan Ingram.
I know. One of these days he's going to hit.
Better bet Jared Goff over 207 passing yards or Teddy Bridgewater over 228.
Teddy.
Agreed.
Teddy.
Top Week 14 running back. Austin Eckler for me.
Mine is Antonio Gibson.
I was gonna say Gibson. I don't want to repeat myself twice now.
It's okay.
But,
It's
yeah,
okay.
it was going to be my pick. I don't think you bench Gibson.
Jeff Wilson Jr. over under 59.5 rushing yards.
Over.
Under.
Wow. Josh Allen over under 296.5 passing yards.
Double it. Over.
Double it?
Yeah. He's gonna set the record for single game.
I'll say over, but slightly.
I'll say just over. I think that pass rush is going to get to him.
Top week 14 scoring wide receiver, and why is it Tyreek Hill?
Sorry, oh, you're saying it's Tyreek Hill because it's not going to be Tyreek Hill. I'll go CeeDee Lamb, or you know what? I'm going to go total crapshoot. I think this is the Amari Cooper week. I really do.
Wow, I love that.
No, and Devontae Adams. Amari Cooper's right there though. Devontae Adams.
This is supposed to be rapid fire. Give me a second here. Let me look at this. I don't want to say Tyreek. Let's go with Devontae Adams.
Darnell Mooney over under 44.5 receiving yards.
Under.
Over.
Top week 14 tight end. And why is it Foster Moreau?
It's not Foster Moreau. I'm going to say Gronk.
Yeah, I don't.
Evan Ingram for me.
Evan Ingram.
God.
If you hit that, good for you.
Hunter Renfrow over under 6.5 receptions.
Over.
I agreed. Odell Beckham over under 45.5 receiving yards.
I probably would bet the under.
I wouldn't touch it, but I would take the under.
Best Christmas cartoon movie.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Does the Grinch count as a cartoon?
Oh yeah, the original Grinch though.
Oh.
Yeah, like not the Jim Carrey Grinch. The most recent one would count, but I would call there's people in the Jim Carrey Grinch.
Okay. I'm trying to think of Polar Express, does that count?
Yeah.
I'm a big Polar Express guy.
Solid film if you're 12.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. The original Grinch for me.
Okay.
And the final rapid fire, best live action Christmas movie.
Oh, now we're talking.
Elf.
Wow. Elf is a call.
Mine's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I'm not a big Christmas movie guy. Sorry, everybody.
I hate everything about Christmas except for the movies. So
okay.
You guys need some Christmas spirit. Both of you guys.
Yeah, I'm a big Elf guy.
That's how the sleigh flies in Elf, right? Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick and I are keeping Santa's sleigh from flying.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, for Home Alone Michael, and Lethal Weapon, the first Lethal Weapon, obviously, and the first Home Alone, because everything after that kind of stinks. I'm DJ. Check these boys out tomorrow evening around 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. I'd like to figure out your Pacific time here, maybe like 5 p.m. No, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. If you're watching in Hawaii, that's roughly 2:30 p.m. They'll be live with Monday Night Hammer. We'll of course be back next week for Mobile Party Experience. Thanks for joining us here today. Good luck. And since Brian's not here, good luck in your matchups this week. And we'll see you next week. Except, obviously, like I said, the boys will be back tomorrow.
All right. Bye, everybody.